If you find a kid that loves something, it's amazing what they can do.
We place artificial limits on the things we think kids are capable of, because we know that, from our experiences, that they're capable of probably much more than we can even imagine.
Every kid has a passion. Everybody has something that they love to do. The academic research program here, which is done in your 3rd and 4th year here, you get to figure out with a group of kids in a group setting initially, with another group of kids sharing ideas back and forth, bouncing ideas off of each other, and then you come up over the course of a year, you figure out with the group what it is that you want to do.
Our curriculum for understanding is based on the fact that we want our students to critically think, right? And in order to do that, they pick this topic, right? And so it's not just a book report. You're not just finding sources and writing about it. How is this going to solve this authentic question that nobody has asked before?
The program gets students to engage in school in a different way in which they can pursue their interests and really find what they're interested in.
It's a brilliantly simple concept which results in some really outstanding student work, and that concept is asking students what they're passionate about and then giving them substantial time to investigate it.
Since I was a little kid, I've always loved playing with cars. I have a collection of Hot Wheels and Legos and all that stuff. What really sparked my interest was seeing that there was so many electric vehicles on the market, but they didn't offer, well, they offered fuel efficiency, but did not offer the performance and the styling that normal internal combustion engines have.
Shadath is part of our robotics team, is one of the leaders of our robotics teams, and so it was no surprise that he wanted to do an engineering project.
My research project is a pneumatic propulsion hybrid system. It's an internal combustion engine, so the engines that are in most cars today, and a compressed air engine into one, and it hybridizes both of them to put them into one system in which you get the most fuel efficiency, you can get less cost of vehicle, and you get a more powerful vehicle.
Shadath actually built a pneumatic engine. He's got a go-kart that runs on compressed air.
Shadath has actually put his design into the Detroit Science and Engineering Fair and came up with 3rd place, and the availability to have patent on it. So it's been a really great experience for him, and he gets to play with engineering toys, tools, things like that.
When I was a kid, I loved to learn. I was always kind of made fun of for my brothers because I loved to write when I was little.
Jane is multifaceted. She's a student that could have picked any topic at this school and done well with it. But she is a person that is a deep thinker about current affairs, what's going on in this world, and so her project having to do with the effects of social media on the jihad movement was scary at first, but she went ahead and did it, and it was fabulous.
I had no idea that I was going to be passionate about something about combating terrorism and marketing until probably a half a year into my project, and I think a lot of that has to do with the relevance of the project. So obviously I picked something that expanded in Western media throughout my project, so a lot of it was just keeping up with the news, which is something I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about learning. I'm passionate about learning more about things that are relevant.
What's fascinating to me about Jane, who published about this in a journal, Digital America, about a month and a half ago, is that she actually preceded a lot of the popular press in terms of the importance of this subject. And just recently, somebody from the NSA came out and said the biggest threat to American security is the lone wolf who has been radicalized through social media. And here we had a high schooler from Grosse Pointe, Michigan, way ahead of that curve, and writing about it in online forums.
It's important to not only be curious about something, but take advantage of that curiosity, to work hard, and often you have to push the limit. And even though people might look at you like, why are you doing this? This is way too much work to invest all your time in. Ultimately, it's worthwhile because it's kind of a snowball effect. Once you take those final first steps of looking into something for a few weeks, take it a little bit farther, and eventually it's recognized in a really worthwhile way.
I've always loved to watch plays and musicals, but I've never saw myself as getting involved, because whenever I thought theater, I always thought, oh, you had to be on stage, you had to be acting or singing, but I never liked that.
Paris, what she really does want to do with her life is behind the stage. So when Dr. Moss, our director of performing arts here, suggested that she take this angle of, hey, what's going on at Fox Theater in their renovation process, and how can you apply some of that to this up-and-coming Algiers theater that looks like it needs caring.
What she did, which is really exciting, is she went the next step and said, I'm going to create a documentary about this.
Dr. Moss came up to me one day and he put me in contact with these people from Digging Detroit. And they came and talked to me, and we got to talking about my project, and they have a website where they post short documentaries about areas in Detroit. And they now have a student section. They want students to begin partnershiping with them and creating their own documentaries. So I'm one of the first students to do that with them. I guess one thing is that I realized that you can be backstage and still be involved in theater. And when I realized that, it's like I really enjoyed it.
The moment they told us about this project, I signed up for it because I knew I wanted to do something music related.
We had to figure out, what does an academic research project in music look like?
Jonathan is a musician, and again, why not do something that you love and you're passionate about?
During my first semester doing this project, second semester, junior year, I noticed that a lot of composers that you hear, some of them are really easy to recognize, even if you haven't heard the actual piece before, because they have a certain style that they have, their voice. And I thought that that was something that I really am striving for as a composer. So I thought that's what I want to do, is I want to pick these composers and sort of combine their voices with my own to try to create something new to hopefully develop my voice even further.
And that's the object of the curriculum, is not just to give you stuff to think about, it's to make you a thinker. It's to allow you to be able to ask questions.
The skills that come out of this program are really what we're looking at. It's the process. It is the ability to go look at sources beyond the first screen that comes up on your computer, to be able to glean information from those sources, cite those sources. And then how do you create and answer a question based on your information? To me, those are the skills that you need to take with you.
Imagination, discovery, all of those pieces, those are what genius consists of.
Talking to them, they said it was a lot of work, but the presentation process is really fun. And so I don't know, I'm kind of excited for that to be me in a year, but also a little overwhelmed.
I've been familiar with a lot of the seniors' projects, so I remember them as juniors, going into it. And it's weird to see them now so far past that point, and they're all such experts on their topics. So knowing that I'm going to be there next year is really cool to me, and I can't wait to start the process.
This is powerful. This is a powerful concept. If you allow students to pursue something about which they're passionate, the sky's the limit.